It says that the video is private. It's very weird. Makes no sense at all. Just see what happens when it gets started. Good morning, folks. Everyone's system is logging in, and I had just a tiny technical problem, so I'm starting a few minutes behind, but I do welcome everybody to the municipal court. I thank everybody for their time, and let me make sure my audio is all the way up. Okay, it is. And just want to welcome everyone to court. And I do have a little issue just making sure I know who's who. So if I could quickly just ask quickly, Mr. Ben Koshi, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, if you could tell me, are you with a law firm?
Yes, I'm with the Greening Law Group. I'm on Mohammed Nazir. We already sent in our paperwork. I just wanted to make sure that there weren't any issues or anything.
Okay, hang on. What? Yeah, I did sign. It's a deferral, and I signed it, and we'll
Okay.
send it to you today, I think.
Perfect. Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, I had taken you off the docket, and I apologize that you didn't know that.
It's
But
okay.
you're good to go.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, and so I'm just gonna narrow down a little bit. Mr. Alcozer, I
Yes,
don't,
Judge.
what case are you here for?
It's, you mean cause number, Judge?
No, sir, I'm sorry, your client name.
Rebecca Alcozer?
Okay, let me just see where that is because I don't have it on my docket, but I'm sure we can get to the bottom of it. So give my clerk a minute to get that pulled. And if you'll hang out for a few minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Sterling, can you just give me your full name? Let me know what case you're here for.
Yes, ma'am. My full name is Quincy Sterling Hall. I'm with the Brett Pritchard Law Firm, and I am for Andrea Reinierson.
Got that. Okay. And do you go by Mr. Sterling or Mr. Hall?
Mr. Hall.
Okay. Got it. And let's see if I know anybody, don't know someone else. Person in a green shirt, it says iPhone 3. Hi. Can you tell me your name, please?
Jasmine Moore.
Gotcha. You're here with Mr. Galvan. Got it.
Thank you.
And your attorney will communicate with you about how we do this, but at a certain point, there'll be a meeting with the prosecutor, and they'll actually break off into another room, and your attorney might have you come with him or might not. And I'll let y'all have a conversation about that where appropriate, and just hang out for a few moments. And Sarah Jean Tracy, let's see, I've got you down. No worries. I think I've got everybody else sorted out. On the iPhone, there's another gentleman with a blue tie. Can you just give me your full name, please?
Yeah, sure. It's Blake Stone from Todd DeKoch's office.
Remind me your last name.
Stone.
Stone, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We've met before, but it just says iPhone, so
No problem, Judge. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Okay. So I just want to welcome Mr. Alcozer. Does that resolve everything? That case has actually been dismissed, and I signed that May 5th. I think we emailed that to you. You might check.
Okay,
But
Judge.
I will, if you haven't, if you could email Ms. Stotts, and we'll make sure you get a copy.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And Robert Callahan coming in. And so a few just quick remarks before we get started. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Wolf and Mr. Matson go on into the breakout room on the LLC, Cadence Education LLC defendant. So let me move y'all over. Mr. Matson is our prosecutor, and I'm moving him over to that breakout room. And also Mr. Wolf, moving you into the breakout room. Good to see you, looking well, sir. And just a couple of things. When you're given a citation, if you're issued a ticket, those are all methods for making an accusation. I realize we have a lot of attorneys here who probably know this, but not everyone does. And I do orient people to, in the Class C court per 285, Rule 285, that we conduct court in a way that is slightly less formal at the municipal level. So I do want to let folks who are not aware that when you're given a ticket or issue a citation, those are methods for making an accusation. That's what that is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer. You're giving a response to the accusation. There are three options for entering a plea: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you are admitting an offense. If you plead not guilty, you are contesting that offense. And if you plead no contest, you're not admitting it or denying it. You're just have a neutral, not saying yes, not saying no. However, if you plead no contest, you are authorizing me to move you into sentencing. If you plead guilty, we're moving into sentencing. If you plead not guilty, we're moving toward trial, because the state will have the burden of proof to begin that trial and make a showing of proof at that trial. And there are rules and laws that guide how that works. So if you plead not guilty, the case moves toward trial. And we're actually doing some pre-trials online. This is by agreement, and it's still very convenient. So we're still using it to kind of help, especially attorneys, of course, because they're all over the place, but also certain cases I think can be here, and also and some uncontested matters we're still doing online. But also another thing is that sometimes people can't get to court, and I want to continue to make court accessible for everyone as much as possible, especially at this sort of pre-level. So if that's something that you would prefer to come in and do here, you need only raise your hand, let me know, and I'll schedule you to come on in. We may do that anyway. As cases move toward the contested docket and we're looking at trial, I don't conduct trials online. So we'll do that here at the court. And we may have one setting quickly before that final trial date too. It just depends a little bit on each case, is a little bit different. I'll work to accommodate to the degree that the court has availability where I can. I do need communication on that front, and there is a duty to communicate and cooperate in terms of making yourself available and making sure we know how to reach you. The leading cause for warrants is just a bad address, because we always send a letter, a note out and say, hey, we think there's a problem. I'm getting ready to sign a warrant. Why don't you communicate with us? And if we don't have the right address, you miss that opportunity. So you want to stay in connection. So I just want to, even if you disagree with the citation, that's actually still true. So if you plead guilty or no contest under state law, I still have 4 dismissal options available, and I do like everybody to know what they are and how they work. I cannot apply them to your case and tell you what you should do. A lawyer can do that for you, or should be the one to do that for you. If you want time to meet with an attorney of your choice, you just let me know, Judge, I need some time. That doesn't mean that you're obligated to hire someone. It does mean that you're going to go pursue legal advice. You may choose to hire someone to represent you. And that's perfectly fine. That's a right that you have. If you don't hire someone, you'll still come back, and we'll meet at that point after you've been given that opportunity. So don't be concerned that means, if you don't know if you're going to hire someone or not, you might choose to consult first. And the way that you do that is just let me know you need the time to do that. If you don't, I assume that you don't want to take that step. If you plead guilty or no contest, I'm moving into sentencing. And again, as I was beginning, there are 4 dismissal options, and I do want folks to know how they work. So compliance dismissals, I'll talk about these briefly in a moment. Driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court are all methods to gain a dismissal, even if you've pled guilty or no contest. These are sentencing options available to the judge in the Class C court, and they work slightly differently from other types of courts that you might have witnessed or watched before, in that you have a little more access to talk with the judge about your sentencing option earlier in the process in some cases. So on compliance dismissals, those are things under the law where the law specifies that you can gain a dismissal if you bring the matter up to date. For example, if you have something like your taillight is out and an officer pulls you over and lets you know, hey, your taillight is out, you get a ticket for that. What it's called is a defective equipment, taillights. You come to court on time, that's important. You prove that you fixed it, and you pay a $10 dismissal fee instead of the $100+ that ticket is. And I have to assume, and the law charges that I assume on a plea of guilty or no contest, that I look for those dismissal options that are available for compliance dismissals and talk to you about them. And I will do that. You are welcome to ask questions. It's your case. And I would expect that you would, but I would, those laws say that the judge shall do so. So I will. Okay, but only on a plea of guilty or no contest am I authorized to do that. If you plead guilty or no contest and you qualify for a driver safety course option, that's the second way to gain a dismissal. With the driver safety course option, the way that works is that you do pay the court costs. You have to qualify to be in the program. You have to have license, insurance, qualify, and then pay the court cost. Every ticket has a court cost and a fine. The court cost is set by the Texas legislature. I can't change it. The fine is set by the judge of the court that I have charge of under the law. In the driver's safety course option, you pay the court cost. And then you have a window of time to produce proof that you've completed a driving safety course, the proper course, and obtain your proper driving record. And then you produce those within that window of time. And if you do so, the case is dismissed automatically, and the fine is on hold until that dismissal comes through, and the fine is waived with that dismissal. If you don't complete it on time or you miss the steps, you can wind up being convicted though. So you need to be really clear if you're using that option. We put it all in writing, but you need to be clear and understand it. And it'll all be written down for you, but you got to not walk away and just, forget about it. That happens sometimes, and people miss that opportunity. You do save money. It keeps it off your record, and that works really well for some folks. On a plea of guilty or no contest, I'll automatically look and see if you're qualified to be in that program, because those laws specify that I shall do so. Let me pause there for a moment. Let me have Mr. Wolf and Mr. Matson give me an update on Cadence education, and we'll go from there.
So, Judge, on Cadence, Mr. Wolf has requested discovery on that case. So if we could reset to give him a chance to review everything that we have.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do that and then come into, can we do that and be back into, are we setting for Zoom or live court?
I think Zoom would still be appropriate for this one, Your Honor. I'm not anticipating it being overly complicated.
Okay.
Agreed, Judge.
What I'm going to do is reset Zoom to July 2nd. Discovery would probably be delivered in the next 2 weeks, generally speaking, but I will get an update. I am ordering that discovery be produced no later than that date, but we still have a pretrial. And I would imagine that the court will receive proof that discovery has been completed well ahead. So the pretrial is reset, And we'll email that to the email that we have on file, Mr. Wolf. Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mattson, is that acceptable to you?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Wolf, do you have anything further before I dismiss you today?
We have Clovis York on the pretrial docket as well.
Oh,
and
excuse
we've
me.
conferred.
Okay, yes, I got it. Go ahead.
Judge, on that one, on the DWLI, an occupational license has been obtained. So I was going to file a dismissal for compliance on that.
Okay,
And on the registration, I was going to ask for a 2-week reset to give Mr. York a bit more time to get that registration handled now that he has the occupational license.
okay. I don't mind the reset, but I'm just gonna need to set it out where the court has availability. So that will be July 2nd. And if you folks confer and get that dismissed prior to that date, that one won't be on the list, but we're still meeting anyway on that date on Cadence. So it makes sense to use that date. And that's actually my availability.
Sounds great, Judge. Thank you.
I will sign the prosecutor dismissal on the DWLI. However, if it's when it's produced later today, I would assume. Mr.
Yes,
Matt,
Judge.
okay. So Mr. Mattson, do you have anything further on the York case?
Not this time, Judge.
Mr. Wolf, anything that I need to take up further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then again, I will dismiss you at this time. You're good to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Moving forward on the Jasmine Moore case, Mr. Galvin, I believe you're ready to go.
Yes,
So-
Judge.
Okay, let me move you both into that meeting. And
Yeah, please move me and my client as well with Mr. Mattson.
I will do so. Thank you. Ms. Moore, I'll move you over to that meeting. Is that right? Yes, okay, gotcha. Very good. Okay, Mr. Mattson, they have moved over.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes. So we're moving along. And so I will also, for folks who may not be aware, the driving safety course option, again, you just have to keep up with it to gain that dismissal, and you do save money. The next option, the third one that I mentioned, was called the deferred disposition, and deferred means delay and disposition means to finalize or make final or dispose of. I delay making your case final in a deferred setting. I do give you a set of conditions in writing that must be met in order to gain a dismissal. In a Class C court, you are permitted to ask the judge directly for a deferral on a plea of guilty or no contest. Guilty or no contest, I would like a deferred, something like that. You would need to speak up, though. The law says that I should assume you know how to do that. And I can't really advocate for that because that would be improper for a judge to do. So if you're looking for a deferral and you've pled guilty or no contest, you do need to speak up and let me know. And then the final thing, and I don't think I have anybody today that this applies to, is a teen court option. Teen court looks a little like a deferred. There are things to do to gain a dismissal, but there are assumptions that are made about young people in school. For example, that they are indigent, that they are not working. It's not always true. So we talk about it if it isn't true. And, you know, that resources are limited in terms of things to do to comply. So the goal of teen court, however, is to address the cause of the need to be in court and in hopes of really addressing the underlying issue so that we aren't back with later cases at any further dates. In other words, to address it and put the past behind them of the young person and not have a conviction on their record. So those are the 4 dismissal options. The 5th hidden one is if a prosecutor dismisses a case. And most of our cases today relate to that docket. However, Katrina Middleton, can you get on screen and unmute so we can have a discussion? Because you were on my docket today and I do have a few things to talk to you about. Are you there?
I'm here, but I'm trying to figure out how to get on my screen. That's what I've been doing. Can you hear me?
I certainly can hear you. There we go.
I got it.
You got it.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Yes, ma'am, I sure can.
I'm doing good this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good. So I just want to talk to you about kind of where we are. I do have, let's see, I have plea papers from you on an expired driver's license charge. That one has a balance if you were to pay it at the window of 181. I did receive a plea of no contest and a request for a payment plan. I then received another expired license charge from a different date. So the first one was March 9th. The second one was March 23rd. I did receive a no contest plea, and that one, just like the other one, is 181. And then there's actually a third case, and it's a defective taillight charge, and it has fines and costs of 234. And I didn't receive a plea on that or anything regarding that. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but first I wanted to ask you, that one has fines and costs of 234. And I wanted to ask, oh, I see. Okay. I did want to ask, how are you pleading to that charge, first of all?
So with that one, I actually had got it fixed. What the issue was, the clerk for some.
Let me pause you just for a quick moment. Before we can kind of talk about it, I need to ask the plea, because without knowing the plea, there's limits to what I'm allowed to talk about. And that's actually for your protection. So just as to on the 23rd of March, the accusation on that day is a defective lamp charge. How are you pleading to the charge itself?
No contest.
Okay. And then what I'm seeing from the paperwork, and I saw that you were reset to bring back proof of the fix. And let's see. So I'm gonna ask you, has that been fixed?
It has been fixed. Actually, the day that I came in, I had tried to send the clerk the emails because it's actually my daughter's car. So I
Okay.
didn't have it, on my person.
Uh-huh.
I had sent it in 3 different times and she couldn't receive it. So we didn't do anything because I was supposed to go and print the pictures off and bring them back in.
Right.
And I actually forgot.
Right.
So I actually called yesterday and spoke with them, and she said we can still try to bring the pictures in and talk to the judge and see what we can do.
Okay. Where are the pictures?
I have them on my phone.
Can you get them off the phone, like print them and bring them? Because apparently for what
Yes.
reason, they're not coming through our system. So I need to look at them. And I think.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna continue. So are you in the area?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually right up the street. I told her I would go to Walmart and print them off.
Okay, great. We've got a plan. So I have a little leeway on the missed court date for some things and not others. Okay. And on the defective tail lamp charge, that would be one. If I can get proof, I could probably go ahead and do a dismissal with a $10 fee. Is it possible?
Okay.
Can you bring those pictures in? They'll route them to me and pay the $10 fee today. And then you'll have to check on it next week and just make sure that it all cleared.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That is something I can do.
Okay, so that's a good beginning on that. I'm just gonna say that you're bringing these in today. And then there's a $10 dismissal fee that you're gonna pay today.
Yes, ma'am.
Just on that one. On the other 2 cases, what I'm showing is that I really should be ordering community service on both of those cases instead of a payment plan. And let me tell you before you answer to that, what that would look like. So if we did that, the 2 cases together would be 18 hours of community service. I have a list of local places where you can do the community service. They include the city of Temple, so there's one form for you to sign acknowledging that part. You don't have to pick Temple. There's a number of nonprofits. And, I give you a list of places, a list of rules, and also a timesheet to keep track of your hours. But you're working as well, so I would go ahead and order, I would give you 60 days instead of 30, just to make sure that, maybe you could kind of inch it out, a little bit at a time. Will you want to do that?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Okay, great. Because I think that's appropriate. Your money's tight. That's true for lots of us, and there's no harm in that. But community service is the better go-to for your circumstances. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that, Judge.
So you're going to come by. We'll have a packet for community service, and the clerk now understands what's in there, so you can get a good look at it. And if you have any basic questions, they'll answer. If there's a bigger question, they'll get it to me, and I'll get an answer out to you. And then bring those photos and that $10 fee. If that doesn't, for some reason, clear or work out, your case will get reset for you to come in, or if you do a written plea today, I mean, I'm thinking that it's going to be okay. So I would just reset you.
Yeah, Judge, I'll be in. I got everything fixed like I needed to. The only thing I couldn't get my birth certificate to get the driver's license in time. So
Right.
I'm okay with the community service.
Great. Okay. We should all be able to clear all of this with this plan. Okay. So when should we expect
Okay.
to come by? What time should we look for you?
Before noon, because I have to go to work at noon. I do work from home, and I live about 2 miles away. So I should be able to go to Walmart and get the pictures and come back. I really genuinely not.
Okay. That sounds good. We'll see you then. Okay.
All righty, Judge. Am I able to drop?
You are.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye-bye. Everyone, just one moment. On this one, can we put the total in as well? Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Great. Mr. Matson. Let me see. Yeah, everyone came back. On the Moore case, let's get an update, please.
Your Honor, Mr. Galvin is going to discuss the offer that was made with his client, so they'd like some time to have that discussion before we proceed.
Are we resetting for Zoom or live court?
I think Zoom is probably fine for this one, Your Honor.
Agreed.
Okay. So, we will send that new court date link over to you, Mr. Galvin, at the email that we used for today's meeting. Will that work for you?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Then does anyone have anything further on this matter before I let you go?
Not
Your
at
Honor,
this-
is that also going to be on July 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I have no other questions.
Okay. Ms. Moore, I'm sure your attorney will do a good job of going over this with you, but I'm actually excusing you both at this time. You can hang up at your leisure.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And so, Mr. Semino, on the John Knight case, I will move you and Mr. Matson into meeting together.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And is anyone here with the Lauren Lofton law firm or Jason Pepper's case? And also Raphael Johnson, do you happen to be here? Okay, I'll sort that. We're just pulling our heels, hanging out, waiting for them to finish. Everyone else is pretrial, so we're just gonna wait for the turns. I'm gonna work in front of you, and if you don't mind, I'm just gonna step away for a quick moment, but I'm not leaving. I'm just grabbing paper. So I'll be right back, okay? All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's what's going on. How you doing? Well, I'm okay. Yesterday, though, something happened with the computer system and it was no longer reading any of my drives. So several messages will come to you hopefully later today because they didn't send. And it told me when I was turning it off to bring it up here today because I finally, after 3 hours of trying to fix it and talking to Sean, who was in an airport, I wound up talking to Amy and found out that lots of people were having this problem and nobody let me know. So, yeah, I guess there wasn't a great way to let me know because the drives weren't working. So anyway, that's that, but you may get some what may seem like out of time replies. And yeah, so
It's gonna happen.
it will eventually happen until it's not. Right. Okay, can we help you? Did you get what you needed?
I'm just grabbing some documents, so.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, it's great until it doesn't work. And then not so much. But that's fun. That's really exciting. Import swag. I have never used one of these, you know. I guess they would help. Your hand to be less tired, maybe. It's because you're not gripping. I guess you could just.
Yeah, you can also, it's supposed to prop it up. So what did you?
Like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I want to give one to Bren.
I'm going long scared. Like. But I don't think they make those sticks all that.
For me, it would need to just be something else. Like it's
I did not because last year we did a lot of outside in the lobby.
Mhm.
But what's inside, I didn't know whether it's the light was so low, I think the aperture was staying open, and that's almost everything.
Mhm.
Because that thing focuses itself. I mean, it's like one of those for dummies.
I can't get anyone to send me any pictures, and
Yeah.
I know people took pictures, but
I'm gonna see if what I can get.
Mr. Johnson is here. Hi, Mr. Johnson. Good morning. Don't know if you can hear me just yet. And in the meantime, I'm going to take Mr. Matson and Mr. Semino on the night case. Let's see, maybe Mr. Semino needs help moving over. Some software just doesn't interact particularly well. Okay, Mr. Semino, Mr. Matson, can we get a check-in on the on the night cases?
Yes, ma'am. We discussed the discovery. It looks like I may be missing a couple of videos just because either it wasn't downloaded or it was sent, but I'm going to go ahead and get that link. We did talk about a plea offer, which I'm going to go ahead and convey with my client. As you know, I have a I travel during the summer, so I hope that the court's okay with resetting just another pretrial until the first week in September, if that's okay.
Let me look at the docket. We'll have to add that date. Give me a second. Let me just check. And you're not the only one, so.
I just know that I'll be in the clear by then, Judge, or even the second week in September for sure. I know for a fact I'm going to be back without any type of issues. It's a lot easier to do it that way than to send vacation letters and the reset, that kind of stuff, Judge. So
Yeah,
I apologize for any inconvenience that may, because I know the court's wanting to move, the cases and move the docket. So
sure. But if we know, we can work with you. Are we resetting, gentlemen, to Zoom?
I think it'd be fine to do Zoom, Judge.
I
Okay,
have no objection to that, Judge.
I have the 10th of September. The 10th of September, will that work?
That should be perfectly fine. That's a Tuesday, so that should work, Judge.
And let me just clarify too, this is a reset of the pretrial and in order that all discovery be completed no later than that date, but I would still anticipate that it would be completed way ahead of schedule. I haven't had any issues just verbally saying that and having it happen. So I'm just, rather than keeping up with multiple dates, let's just check in on that date. And, I would expect that we would be ready to kind of move forward at that point in whatever direction we're going.
I agree.
Okay. Mr. Semino, anything further that you need to take up with the court at this time?
No, ma'am. That date is at 9 in the morning, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I will get a link. So now, thank you so much. Have a great summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll send the link to the email that we used for today.
Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
And you too. Travel safe. Okay. Moving forward, let's see. Let's move forward with Mr. Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is on the Andrea Reinierson case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just keep, okay, this. Here we go. I think it's just moving him over. There we go. Okay, it went. All right, we're continuing. So, Mr. Johnson, I see that you're now connected and your video is on. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Judge Person. I have a question.
Yes.
So court started at 9. What happened?
I've had a hard time operating the Zoom, and I just now was able to figure it out, and that's why I'm I'm on now.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. It's fine. And you're definitely in the queue, so don't worry. Just hang out. We did do some announcements earlier. You might ask the prosecutor a little bit about that when it's your turn. I just talked about dismissal options. He can't give you legal advice though. And I might review a little bit more with you just before you go into that meeting. But right now I'm just kind of working and cooling my heels because the things that were scheduled on my line basically are done. And folks are waiting to have that meeting with the prosecutor before we see where we're going with the cases. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll be back with you soon.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Just look at a couple things. Okay, let's check in on the Reinerson case.
Yes, Your Honor, I was able to speak with the prosecution specifically, and he gave me some very nice options, much appreciated. Specifically, one of them was going to be a deferral that would essentially lead, based on how the statute is written, it seems that with the fine and court costs, it would be close to $700. Let's see, I was wondering specifically if the fine could be reduced to like something more affordable, because I don't necessarily think essentially $700 payment within 30 days is very viable for my client.
So I do sometimes do those reductions. However, because that fine is mandated by state law, I do require that the person who is receiving the reduction, namely your client, would
Yes, ma'am.
fill out an income disclosure form. It's basically a payment application. And then I document my reduction based on that, because otherwise it's a mandatory fine. So I would have to get that from you all. I would consider it, but I can't
Understood.
make a promise about that until I see where we are.
Understood, Your Honor. I do appreciate that. Let's see. The second question I had specifically is if it would be possible. Sorry, I have two more questions. The second question, like I have specifically, would be is if it would be possible to offer a defensive driving course and just allow her to pay the court costs for that.
That is not authorized on this particular offense under state law. So the answer would be no.
Understood. And my last question specifically would be like when it comes to the payment, if she does having to pay essentially the close to $700, if she could spread out the payments throughout like 120 days as opposed to 30.
I do require that payment income information. We
Understood.
call it a financial affidavit, but I sometimes do make those adjustments.
Understood.
In other words, it would not be unusual to do that.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you for those. Thank you for answering my questions.
Of course.
Okay, so that's all I have at this point. Specifically, what I'll ask is that it's for a little more time so I can relay the offer to my client.
Right. It might be a good idea. We can email you that financial affidavit and you can go over it with that person and decide what y'all want to do with that.
Yes, ma'am. I would appreciate that.
Let me make a note. I'm currently resetting to July 2nd for Zoom. Mr. Matson, let me get you to weigh in if that's something you agree to.
I do, Judge.
Okay, I'll email a financial affidavit and reset the case to July 2nd. If there becomes an offer, I look at and make adjustments accordingly at that point.
Yes, Your Honor.
If there's a basic agreement that that's what we're doing, then I just look and see what appears to be appropriate at that point. Generally speaking, I break it into 3 payments and go like month, 3 payments. But I might extend that deferred out a little longer to give more time for the clerk to track the case.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. If there's a reduction too, then I might adjust that a little as well.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. Understood.
I'm just making a note that that's something for me to check in on. In my notes. Okay, we're going to send that reset to your email along with the financial affidavit. And we'll all see each other again.
Yes, ma'am.
July 2nd.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes, ma'am. May I be excused?
You may. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes.
Have a good morning, everyone.
The next person who logged in was Sarah Jean Tracy. Miss Tracy, let me have you, you are unmuted. Let me move you over to that meeting with the prosecutor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yes, I'll let her in. Hi, Miss Lofton. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. How are you today?
Good. Are you able to get on screen?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Hi. Sorry, it's sunny out.
Yeah. Well, San Antonio is always sunny. Did you have difficulty with the link? What happened?
I'm so sorry. I'll be honest, I've had a crazy morning. You are my third court I'm appearing in already, and I'm running into district court at the same time. So that's why I was not there at 9. So
Okay. I don't anticipate court being a lot longer. So if you get off and run into that court, I'm not sure that we will be here when you
no,
get.
I'm gonna stay in the Zoom. I'm not leaving. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, there's a few people ahead of you, and
I have all the time in the world. Yeah.
we'll be with you shortly. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Well, good. That's 100%. So that's great. Oh, excellent. I actually will see him. What about, there was another one that was, oh, okay. I'm gonna open this.
We don't have, those are the trophies, we don't have the trophies yet.
Yeah. But Mr. Mazariegos, especially, those guys, they live in Waco. And it's very difficult to get them down here. So. Hmm? Really? That would be incredible. Donato, doesn't he have one of these? No, Donato wouldn't with us this year. I'm sorry, he's graduating. But Giovanni's not graduating. But they've all said, you're still gonna do it, right? I would want some way that this is wrapped up and protected if I'm taking it to him, but I don't mind taking it to him. Okay. I would love to shake Mr. Slosson's hand if he, are we sure about that spelling? It's not a
Yes.
W, right? Okay.
Yes.
We had an O in there instead of an A, right?
Right.
Okay. Very good. We're done. See. Is Erin here today?
She is here today, but she just went to the doctor's appointment.
Oh,
She'll be back. Think after lunch.
okay.
One of the zero things.
Yes. When it rains, it pours. You know that problematic property needs to remain. Mr. Johnson, you're not driving though, right?
No, I was just sitting in the car. I'm not driving.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want to watch an accident.
No, I'm in the parking lot.
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Ooh, is this our new list? I like it. It's readable.
You know what? Is that? Yeah, that is the one. I went on to the other sides to see if they. So it would look like, more even.
Yeah. And also what's offered. I think that I'm going to ask you to do one more thing with me, and I'll show you after court. But I am the Narcan, I mean, not the Narcan, the fentanyl problem. I hit on a couple of really good videos. And I think that what I'm wanting to say is that I want to modify the death essay to include that for drug offenses of any substance use, since fentanyl can be put on any substance, and add it to the mix of things because
It is. I don't think I added to the running lane, but I can figure out what, opium, there's an opium.
well, I do,
Add that
yes, all the options should be on one place. So yeah, add the opium class, and then we have videos, right?
I believe we did. All the.
Okay, Mr. Matson, let's see where we are. Excuse me. Okay, let's get an update on Sarah Tracy's case.
Your Honor, I believe that Miss Tracy would like to move forward with the trial.
Okay, our next step is we come into live court on June 18th. If you get here early, that'll be a quick check-in, because there are some forms we need to do that morning. Mr. Matson, it'll technically be on your pretrial, but I won't expect y'all to meet again.
Okay.
I
Miss
will,
Tracy, just so that you're aware, that June 18th date is not your trial date. That's just a pretrial setting for you to fill out paperwork for your trial.
I have to walk you through certain constitutional provisions. So when you get here, you'll be on the pretrial, you'll check in at the clerk's window and come in the court, but I'll work you into my line that morning pretty quickly. So you won't expect to have trial that day, and you won't expect to be here all day or anything like that, but it's at 9.
Okay.
We're going to email that to you, the setting to you at the email that we used for today. Will that email still work?
Yes.
Okay, great. That'll come over to you this morning.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Am I good to drop?
You are, whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, moving you forward with Mr. Stone. Actually, I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. I've got that wrong. No, that's right. On the Castro Rodriguez case.
Okay, great.
Okay. I probably, I don't think we have a strong enough signal. So I'll show you this video after court. We'll just step out. It's a minute. And it is so powerful. And I'm gonna look and see if there's maybe one or two more. Just short, real short and sweet. And then we'll add them to that essay page. And it'll, if you'll send me that page, I'll put the links in there and reword it. Okay, so just a couple notes. That's good to go. Looks good though. And I'm glad to get some of this information because honestly, I'm gonna have Joaquin do some of these.
I like that financial management.
Just was looking at that. And impulse control. There's opioid awareness. They have a lot.
They did.
Let's see. So you highlighted what we already have in, and then, so there's the DUI course.
Especially this.
Because we get them. Mhm.
Yeah. They don't have to be over on them unless they have any.
Mhm. Yeah. Financial management, great. Probably don't know. I don't know about the prostitution.
That is really
Sexting, yeah.
when I looked at it, we thought about, especially the sexting ones.
Oh, it's for adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's for, to try to dissuade men from utilizing.
Not how to not be trafficked.
I looked at that, and then I looked at, I was reading, the reason it says John something.
Mhm. It's interesting to me, the kids that we have seen so far this past 2 years, really, they don't seem to have truancy cases.
No.
Yeah, so I don't think I want to add that, but
Oh, yeah.
but let's add the theft by check just to the theft generally. I might let Joaquin choose a class, and my plan is to do them with him. And have conversations. This is part of like what we're doing in this next year. So he's not ready to be off alone doing anything.
Well, I did want to ask you that when Delphine was going to the defensive planning, when I was going back through, he was looking at this thing.
Oh, good.
And I read a print I wanted to show you to see if you want us to, you know, give them that to look at
Okay,
when they don't have a license.
let me look at that with you after court. Okay, let's get a check-in on the Castro Rodriguez case.
Judge, we were finalizing, there was some clarification that was needed on the offer. That's now set. So if we could get one more reset, I think that this case will be resolved before then. But I'd like to have a deadline on it, whenever that's going to be.
Okay, the deadline is gonna need to be July 2nd. And
Perfect.
it's good to let us know, let the court know if y'all get resolved so that I can free up space for others, but I'm gonna set that on the Zoom since we may, in case we need to check in.
That sounds great, Your Honor.
Good, Mr. Stone? Uh-oh, your audio is not giving us what we need. We're gonna email that to your email and hopefully all is well.
That
Mr. Matson, I'm gonna move you forward with Mr. Callahan, Robert Callahan.
Hold on.
And Mr. Callahan, if you could unmute and get
I
video.
want to make sure I was like cutting down a keyboard. Oh, it keeps
Mr.
breaking up. I apologize.
Yeah, hold on, Mr. Stone. Mr. Callahan, I'm just going to move you over to that meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Stone, we're going to email that new setting to you, and hopefully the email that you're using or that we used for the setting today will still work.
Okay. And I'm sorry, did you say June 2nd or July 2nd? It kept breaking up right when you talked.
July 2nd.
Perfect. Thank you, Judge. I expect to have it taken care of ahead of that.
Great. Let us know so that we can free up space for others. Thank you.
I sure will, Judge. Thank you. May I be excused?
You may. You're good.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Which is what? Oh. We can print one out. Just let him know that we did it in court on his oral motion. And just put ODL provided. Mr. Mattson and Mr. Callahan, are we ready to bring Mr. Callahan back over?
We are, Judge.
Okay. Okay, let's get an update on the Richard Walker case.
Good morning, Your Honor. We have an agreement worked out. My client needs to get some records to the prosecutor in order to fully realize that offer, and we're asking for that July 2nd setting as a reset, and I believe that we will get everything done before then if we can do that. Mr.
Mattson, you agree?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, the court has no problem with this, and reschedule, and I'll respond to whatever winds up making it my way. So otherwise, we'll check in that day.
Perfect. Thank you.
Everybody, you're good to go, Mr. Callahan. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Good to see you as always, Judge. Mr.
Thank
Mattson, thank you.
You're
Yes,
good to
sir.
go whenever you're ready. And moving forward, Raphael Johnson, let me move you over to that meeting with the prosecutor. I think I mentioned he's not your attorney, but he is the person representing the state, and he's moving the cases forward and seeing it. He may make an offer, he may not. Okay.
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 It's a compliance, right? Not it's being urgent.
It's a it's a prosecutor discretion.
Okay.
And because it's not a technically a legal compliance, he is honoring it as a compliance dismissal. So no, it is his prosecutor motion.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm just writing in. I'll write it in and show you. It's a discretionary.
You normally was that number one, is that correct?
Yes. And then what I always write is. And then email him and let him know so he doesn't send a duplicate. Where is it? Where are we keeping it upstairs? Is it in my office, the team court stuff, swag?
Oh, it's upstairs in the room right beside us.
Okay,
We're keeping it all on that shelf unit as you walk in.
cool. I have a practice with city manager in the morning. And I want to take her. Things, yeah. Let her see. Okay, let's get an update on the Raphael Johnson case.
Your Honor, Mr. Johnson would like to move forward with the trial process.
Okay, we're going to come to live court, which is not a trial, but we do need to do some additional paperwork. I need to walk you through some paperwork, and that is mandatory on June 18th. I believe that's a Tuesday. Let me double check. Yeah. Will that work for you, sir? So I'll have to have you unmute. I can't hear you.
Yes, June 18 will work for me, ma'am.
We'll see you here at 9. I'm going to send notice of that meeting to the email that we used this morning for the hearing today. Will that email still work?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Mattson, similarly, I won't expect that you and Mr. Johnson will meet again unless something comes up. But I will have him on that pretrial docket because otherwise it gets the wrong treatment. So, okay, we're moving that forward. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, when you're ready, you are free to hang up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Attorney Lefton, we'll have you unmute and we'll get you.
I did.
Hi, you and Mr. Mattson can have that very important pretrial meeting online, and I'll move y'all over to that meeting now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind when attorneys are all over the place. I get it. That's quite normal. It's better if they'll let us know though, because if we wrap it up and they're not here. Well, sometimes you don't realize.
Well, the pencils turned out really good too.
Yes, and the pins. I'm using the pen today. I like it. I normally don't like this type of pen. Okay, let's get an update on the Jason Peppers case.
Your Honor, Miss Lefton is going to work with her client to have the Omni hold fees paid. That is kind of the crux of the issue here, is it's restricting his ability to get his license updated. So I'm going to be looking for payment of those Omni fees. And I figured she might want to talk to you about how that process is handled.
Okay. The way that that process is handled is, let me find out what those fees exactly are, unless you've already narrowed that down.
I haven't. I'm guessing it'll be a total of $90 because they're so old. So it's probably when it was $30 a hold.
Right. It may be in collections, so there may be more attached to it, like 37 each. I'll check. And then once that's received, I release it. It does take about a month to clear. DPS will tell us no, they'll tell us
5 to 7.
They'll say 2. I have 5 days to release it. Once I determine that it's releasable, I have 5 days once the account is zeroed out. But once I determine that I'm going to release it in this case, because an attorney's on the case and they're paying the fee, then I have 5 days to do it. It doesn't take me 5 days to do it. It takes a day.
Right.
But what I have found is that they would tell you down there 2 to 4 weeks, and what they mean is 20 days plus weekends. So
Right.
it's really a month.
Right.
We'll reschedule for July 2nd.
Okay.
Let me get that number for you. Are we looking at the Omni holds?
Perfect.
Are they in Omni and collections?
I've got collections.
Where's the Omni? We're not seeing Omni. Let me look at it on screen. Can you put it up?
Oh.
Okay, let's see. We'll have to check each one, but are the warrants recalled?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not the Omni hold. These are not
You're not? Okay.
We're gonna check them all, but I think these
Okay.
are not the Omni
I'll
holds.
double check. Yeah, I'll double check.
Okay, just so you know, when you start talking, you just start talking right over me, and I'm trying to talk to you, and I think it's your connection. Just pause. I'll pause too, and that'll fix it for both of us, because I don't think either one of us is trying to do that. But you're in a building where, like, I know those buildings, and it's gonna make a problem. Give me just a second to check all 3 of them. If I'm not the Omni hold, then you've got to just get on that failure to appear page and see who it is. Let me double check.
No Omni holds.
We don't see any on it from us. So let's see, I've got a DL number. Well, no, it's not, because if it hasn't been checked. Let me check the state website and just see if I can find it. Because I have the DL number. Let me double check real quick on their website and see if there's some confusion. 75167.
5167 is, I think that's an ID.
Well, that doesn't matter. Although that can be a complication. So we only have, by the way, an ID number. So I'm gonna just check on the website the ID number. But if there was a DL number as well, you'll want to check that. Because under the ID number, there are no Omni violation holds. So if there was a another number, like a DL number, you'd want to check that at the Texas Failure to Appear website. The number we have, we did not attach Omni. I'm more than fine resetting to give everybody time to do a little research, but we're not the whole.
So, if I may speak, I don't want to talk over you.
That's why I'm pausing.
Okay. So I just checked the failure to appear with the number I have, and the hold does show up for Temple. I can give you that driver's license number.
Please.
It's 107.
Sorry, you're cutting out.
107 943 78,
107 943
and it does
8.
78. Yes, ma'am.
And then I've got January 25th, 1973.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me double check that. I'm not sure how we would do that since we didn't have it, but let me double check.
Is it possible that that's out of the JP court?
Let me just,
You know what? I'm sorry.
why don't we just wait and look?
It actually shows.
It's only going to take one more second.
Okay.
Because that's the answer, is to look. Oh, that was weird.
Well, and I misspoke. So those were what was there originally, but they are listed as closed now on the Texas failure to appear page.
Yeah, those are closed old cases. Those aren't
Yeah.
these cases. These are new, different cases, and they're not the hold. We don't have a hold.
Well, I think these are the same cases. They were just closed in March of 2024. So, but
Yeah.
I think given the Omni issue resolved, then Mr. Matson and I have the tickets resolved as well.
Why don't y'all meet again? Because what y'all told me is we need to
Okay.
reset and pay the Omni fees. There aren't Omni fees. So the purpose of resetting
Correct.
that's been articulated to me isn't there. So you're gonna have to go back, you're gonna have to figure out how to get yourself back into that meeting, or you're gonna have to log off and dial back in. Because I'm not able to send you to that meeting again. If it's not
Okay, I'll join the breakout room right now.
yeah, you guys meet again. I don't mind a reset, but let's get on the same page. Maybe you could step outside where you can get a better signal, but it's a suggestion. Really struggling to understand any of it. It drives me crazy that OpenG will say not responding while it's responding. Because I can't tell if it's responding. I don't know.
You know, when I looked on that, it says that there was an Omni at one time.
On those cases,
But it's not on it's not where the.
it's not on the state website, so there's not a point. Okay, where are we? I can't hear me in either of you.
Sorry, I thought I was already unmuted. I'm going to be moving to dismiss all three of these. They're over 18 years old. I don't see how I would have any shot of proving them in court. We were mainly just making sure that the Omni fees, if there were any, had been removed. And since there aren't any, then I'm satisfied with that.
Okay, send that on over and I'll sign it. And Council Lefton, I'll email that over to you later this morning.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're good to go.